How he is. I'm currently traveling around the Middle East and Asia at the moment, making some videos for this channel. I told you good stuff was coming, and at the moment I'm in Sri Lanka, and I want to do some exploration of the sites here. I have a local guide, and the stuff I'll be presenting, there's almost nothing out there in the English language on it, so it'll be a whole new world of megaliths and other interesting magical sacred sites and mysterious places, as well as a few other surprises coming. Now there's that's down the road. All the footage will have to be eventually edited and things like that, but you'll get updates and things like that. Now it's incredibly hot here. In January it's like 33 degrees Celsius and 100% humidity, but I'm staying in a beautiful place, so it's okay. I want to talk about the idea of a meat servitor. You've heard me talk about the meat golem, this kind of idea. The idea that you can take flesh and put we'll just say for now, a spiritual or a magical or a psychic charge into it, but that's not really what happens. It's still an interesting process. One of the reasons this is often noticed is in places where chickens they're in a restaurant or to be brought home, and the chicken, there may be an issue in the home, that there's a row or it's a difficult workplace, and the chicken, even though it has no head, feathers, it's just a chicken ready for being eaten, no innards, starts moving. It starts moving its legs, and people freak out and they say it's possessed by a demon and stuff like that. And indeed, magicians used to do that. They used to take meat in a kind of Frankenstein's monster way. He would sew it together into a kind of a puppet, a meat puppet, not the band. So they would use like 2 leg bones or something, or 2 pig's feet to make a leg, something else to make the arms, put a heart inside, a cow's heart, then use all kinds of steak and meat to build a face, try and build a creature. And then they would try to concentrate, and they would have a ritual that would put an entity they would believe inside it, and the thing would start moving. Well, that's not what happens really. What happens is, it's actually a bit more interesting, but it still has to do with developing your magical prowess and your magical power. It's your nervous system projecting beyond yourself into the nervous system that remains inside the meat or the chicken or whatever. Now, Catholics know all about this. One of the reasons Jews quite rightly bury people as soon as they're dead is because they don't want the corpses moving or anything like that. They just are right in the ground right away. It's done. That's actually the healthy way to do it. I'll give you a couple of famous examples of this effect happening. When somebody has lost a loved one, and they're, say, a Catholic, and they have an open coffin or an open casket, they might start talking to their loved one, and the lips start moving, or the eyes start moving, or the hands start moving. And it freaks them out terribly, and it should freak them out terribly, because some people say that's like a demon or something, or it's the spirit of the person who's departed has entered back into the corpse. It's not that at all. It's the same effect I told you before. In the extreme sense of grief, the nervous system projects beyond the body and activates the nervous system of the corpse, giving the impression that it's alive, or there's something in there moving it. It's not. It's a desire by the bereaved to want the person alive again. And their will is so strong, their grief is so strong, their emotional expansion is so intense, it moves the corpse. I'll give you a couple of examples of this that happened, have been recorded in real life. When Michael Collins, the former Irish Army, the first Commander-in-Chief of the Irish Army, who was part of the overthrow of the British rule in Ireland, he was killed in the Irish Civil War in 1922, I think it was. and the country went into shock. Now, one of his best friends was John Laverty, the painter, and John Laverty asked permission from the government, the new Irish government and the army, could he paint Mick, his friend, lying in state in the Pro Cathedral. He just said he wanted just one night with just himself and the 4 soldiers guarding the coffin with the open casket and lying in state before the public came. So John Laverty went into the Pro Cathedral in Dublin and he painted his friend Mick. And his diaries of it are chilling. He was deeply distraught. You know, the guy was only 32 when he died. He just said, like, here's the man who freed Ireland from the British Empire finally, and he didn't really live to build a new nation. And he said that while he was painting Mick, and remember, art and painting is a magical process, occasionally Mick would move his head, blink his eyes, or open his and close his mouth. Now that was chilling when I first read that. There's another case. In Paul Stanley's biography of the Paul Stanley from the band Kiss, when their drummer Eric Carr died of heart cancer, Eric Carr, they had the funeral for him in New York, and Eric Carr had an open coffin, open casket, and it was because he was so sick and the chemo and everything. They said he looked ghastly, he'd lost all his hair, it didn't look like him. His girlfriend, and he was lying in the coffin holding two drumsticks like this, and before they sealed the coffin, the mother and his girlfriend wanted the drumstick each to remember, and the girlfriend took the drumstick out, and when she took the drumstick out of his hand, the hand opened and it closed again and freaked everyone out. Now that was the grief of the girlfriend and the mother and everyone else there, wishing that Eric Carr was still alive and projecting their nervous system into it. Now you could only imagine the intense trauma that would cause somebody. And then you will have these opportunist types, mainly Christians, say things like, oh, there was a demon in there, or you know, a walk-in or something. It's not, it's the nervous system. This is what magic is. Magic is completely the attenuation of the nervous system. The nervous system is the prime mover of the magical effect. It is the shunting agent between the conscious will and the unseen forces of the universe which make things happen. We'll call that dark matter energy for now. And so that's why I'm very much against the whole Catholic idea of the open coffin, because it often results in that and traumatizes people. So, you know, this is a well-known phenomena, and it's not a demon, it's not an entity, it's not the ghost of the person coming back to life. It is the nervous system of the individuals grieving, or in a kitchen where it's a chicken that starts moving. There could have been a big row in the kitchen or in the home, and the chicken starts moving. It's not a demon in there, it's the human nervous system projecting and attenuating so far beyond the physical body. Remember, it goes out in a massive field, that it's so intense and so raw that it actually affects the nervous system of the meat. And that's really how a meat servitor works. See, magic is really a science. There's also obsession falls in with that as well, but I'll make a separate video for obsession. So that's this video, and yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff coming up, and you know, keep the comments going in the bottom. It's always great, and like and subscribe, and thank you.